The day started off badly, and each following hour seemed to compound its worsening. First, the phone rang with the news you didn't want to hear. Then, the bills on the table became a cruel reminder of all that was missing. The work didn't work out. The harsh words of someone you love still echo in your mind. And when night falls, you feel the accumulated weight is more than you can bear. You look around, and nothing seems to make sense. The house, once a shelter, feels like a prison. The silence brings no peace, only screams of failure. Your body weighs heavily, your heart aches, and your mind won't rest. Every mistake from the past, every poor choice, every failure forgotten by others but held by you, comes back with full force. You sit, tired, exhausted. Your chest feels like it's carrying invisible tons. The question that won't go away is just one. Why continue? Life, which seemed to have paths, now seems like a dead end. Future has become an empty word. Hope seems like a cruel joke. The tears fall unbidden. They're not of relief, but of defeat. Your mind tries to convince you it's not worth it. There's no value anymore. You think about all the attempts to change. Some worked, most failed. And failure hurts more when it's repeated. The clock ticks away, relentless. The world continues, even when everything inside you has stopped. You breathe deeply, but even the air seems heavy. There's no strength, no will, no direction. And it's in that moment, when silence mingles with tears and the feeling of an end, that an unexpected presence appears. You look up, barely able to believe it. At the door stands Paul Walker. Paul says nothing. He just stands there, as if the silence were stronger than any words. You lower your head, unable to hold his gaze. Your mind won't stop. Every memory of failure returns with cruel clarity. You remember the job you lost, the time you believed you'd have a chance and it didn't work out. You remember the bills piling up, the constant lack of money, the feeling of running without ever achieving anything. You remember broken promises, the words spoken in anger, the people you let slip away because you couldn't hold on. And each memory weighs like a stone on your chest. You think, my life is a collection of mistakes. What value is left in someone who always falls? What future is left when all plans have failed? The silence of the house mingles with the noise inside your head. A voice insists it's over. There's no point trying. And you almost believe it, because everything around you confirms this idea. The walls seem to close in. The furniture becomes silent witnesses to unfulfilled promises. Paul takes a step, but says nothing. He looks around, as if taking in every detail invisible to others. The bills on the table, the photograph lying on the floor, the signs of struggle and exhaustion no one ever sees. His gaze isn't one of judgment, it's one of recognition, as if to say, I know. You try to take a deep breath, but no air comes in. The pain isn't just emotional, it's physical. Your body aches as if carrying too much weight. You wonder, would anyone notice if I disappeared? Would it make a difference? Loneliness answers before you even finish the question. The tears fall, and you whisper weakly, I can't do it anymore. Your voice breaks, barely audible. But Paul listens. He doesn't turn away, doesn't rush, doesn't try to offer cheap comfort. He just stands, solid, like a rock in the midst of a storm. And in this shared silence, an almost imperceptible detail emerges. The heart still beats, the tears still flow. The air, however heavy, still enters. However small, it means that life goes on, that there is still room, however small, for hope. Paul takes a deep breath, as if preparing to speak. You look up wearily and wait. Paul takes 2 steps closer. His voice is low, the kind that doesn't compete for space. It occupies it. I know, today feels like the end. You don't answer. He continues, with the calm of someone speaking the truth. But the end has a sign you haven't yet crossed. It only comes when your breathing stops. As long as you breathe, there is still life. You squeeze your eyes shut, tired. Breathing doesn't solve anything. Breathing doesn't solve the problem, but it allows you to resolve it, he says. Without air, there are no choices. With air, there is at least the next decision. Paul looks at the bills on the table, then looks at you. You chased money, and it wasn't enough. I understand. Money pays the bills. But when it fails, you think your value failed too. It didn't. Value isn't a statement. Value is presence. It's character under pressure. It's who you choose to be when everything weighs down. You let out a short, bitter laugh. And who did I choose to be? Someone who hasn't given up to this day, he says without hesitation. If I had, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening. You fell, but you're still here. That's ability, not weakness. He crouches down to your level. The future isn't a pretty promise. It's a silent process, one step at a time. And yes, it hurts, but pain isn't a sign that it's over. Sometimes it's a sign that you're shedding your skin. I'm done trying, you whisper. So don't try everything, he replies. Try the next inch. Today, 3 small things. A gesture of faith, something you do even without guarantee. A gesture of hope, something that points to the future. And a gesture of value, something that creates value for someone other than yourself. 3 moves? Just today, you shake your head. What if I fail again? It will, Paul says with calm honesty. But failure in the present is better than fantasizing about hidden success. Failure sets the course. Adjustment, repeated, becomes change. He looks at the photo that fell on the floor. He picks it up carefully and places it upright on the table. You are not what you lost. You are what you choose to protect now. Silence. You feel the phrase sink in where the weariness lives. Paul continues. You know what the trick of the worst days is? They push you into the lie that nothing else matters. That's when it matters most. That's when your choices define what you'll remember tomorrow. You breathe deeper this time. And what do I do now? Water on your face? 15 minutes of tidying up this desk. A message to the right person. An email you've been avoiding. Low effort rates, high consistency. What if no one answers? Then you're free to continue without the audience. He smiles slightly. Answers come to those who continue. Faith is walking before the applause. Paul straightens his shoulders. Listen, courage isn't shouting. It's choosing well under pressure. Today you choose what fits. An inch. Tomorrow, another. And when you look back, you'll see meters. You stare at your own hand, shaking less. I don't know if I can. You don't have to feel it to get it, he says. Feel it or not decide. The feeling piggybacks on the decision. He lightly touches her shoulder, firm, without drama. You are worth more than this day allows you to see. And the world around you is worth more when you show up. Not because of perfection, because of presence. Paul stands up, takes a half step back, and concludes as if handing over the key. Today, the day doesn't need to get lighter. You need to get brighter. What will be your first choice now? You breathe in. For the first time, the question doesn't scare you. It summons you. You remain silent, but Paul's words echo as if engraved on the walls. You don't have to feel it to achieve it. Decide. Your mind still replays the bad memories, but something else is mixed in. The idea that you don't have to conquer everything at once. Just the next inch, look around. The bills are still on the table. The clock is still ticking. The photo is still in the same place. Nothing has changed on the outside. But on the inside, you notice a subtle difference. The weight is not absolute. There is still room for choice. You rest your hands on your knees and take a deep breath. The air comes in a little easier this time. Your heart still pounds, but it no longer screams, "It's over!" It's as if to say, maybe it still can. Paul doesn't pressure. He just observes, steady, giving you space to see for yourself. He knows he can't live for you. He can only be there, witnessing the turnaround. You look at the bills again. Before they were sentences. Now they seem like a task. Difficult, but a task. Something that can be done step by step. Maybe not all of it today, but part of it. And that thought is already hope. The photograph on the table catches your eye. You hold it carefully. The smiling face in the image seems to remind you of good times, not just what was lost. For the first time, the memory comes not only as pain, but as strength. Value. You remember the words, faith is walking before the applause. And you realize you can apply that now. In the silence, there's no audience, there are no guarantees, but there is faith. Your chest opens a little more. You stand up slowly, your body still heavy but moving. A small gesture, a big difference. Paul follows with a slight smile, as if confirming, "That's it." You go to the kitchen and wash your face with cold water. The reflection in the mirror still shows tiredness, but it also shows something new. Eyes that haven't completely given up. Eyes that, even blurred with tears, still carry a spark of future. You return to the living room. Paul remains standing there, firm. You sit down again, but in a different position. Not as if sinking, but as if positioning yourself. And in that simple gesture, you understand. Perhaps this day will continue to be the hardest of your life, but it doesn't have to be the last. The silence in the house remains, but it's no longer the same. Before. And it was a prison. Now it feels like an open field. Hard, difficult, but breathable. You still feel pain, but you realize it's not a sentence. It's a sign that there's still something inside you that refuses to be erased. Paul watches silently, as if he's been waiting for this very moment. The moment you realize you still have a choice. He takes a few steps toward the door, but before leaving, he looks directly at you. "Remember what I said?" He says, firm but calm. "The end only comes when breathing stops. As long as there is air, there is life. As long as there is life, there is hope. And as long as there is hope, there are always choices." You feel the lump in your throat tighten. He continues, "The hardest day isn't the one that defeats you. It's the one that tries to convince you there's no future. But the future exists. Maybe different from what you dreamed. Maybe slower but real. And it depends on your next decision." Paul raises his hand, pointing to the messy desk, the photo, and you. It's not about erasing the pain. It's about using it as fuel for change. That's what turns defeat into resilience. That's what gives value even to failures. He gives a half smile, almost complicit. You can continue to believe it's over. Or you can decide that this day, the hardest one, will be remembered as the point at which you didn't give up. That choice is yours alone. The words echo deep within, and you realize there's no immediate response, only silence. But it's a different silence, full of possibility. Paul turns the handle, opening the door. Streetlight floods the room, illuminating the shadows. He takes one last look, with the calm of someone confident in his decision, and says, "Courage isn't about living easy days. It's about getting through the hard ones. And you're getting through them. The question is, how will you carry on when the door closes?" It disappears into the night, leaving behind not complete relief, but a real spark. You take a deep breath. It still hurts. It still weighs. But deep inside, something has changed. There is a choice. And in the silence of the room, his last sentence continues to echo, asking for an answer that only you can give. On the hardest day of your life, will you give up or will you choose to live anyway?